Well, everyone, it's time for us to go and take a look at the Google Pixel tablet and see how it compares against the iPad 9th generation and see which specific tablet you should go and pretty much buy. Now, both these iPads and tablets are very good. I like them a lot, and I don't really know if there's one that I would necessarily say is the better one in every single way, but I love the iPad 9. And with the Pixel tablet, I think this is an interesting device they made. I don't know if this would be the first one I'd recommend buying either, but I will say I will leave both these tablets linked down in the description so you can get them from there and you can help support the channel at the same time. Now, starting off with the outside of both these devices, the iPad 9th generation came out in 2021. So this was the 10.2-inch panel on the front, a Retina IPS display, and overall, it looks like a pretty decent iPad. It still performs pretty decent. We have the fingerprint sensor in the display. We have a lot of stuff going on with this device. And I do think Apple, for the most part, did a really decent job with this iPad overall. Is it perfect? No. But I think it's good enough for a lot of people. And if you're planning on buying some sort of iPad, this isn't really that bad of an option, I would say, for the most part. You're getting a lightning port at the bottom with a headphone jack, which is really cool. So overall, decent amount of I/O, and it looks like a pretty good iPad. With the Google Pixel tablet, on the other hand, you were getting a little bit of a bigger 10.95-inch IPS LCD panel on the front. So this thing, very high resolution panel, not as high. I think it's about the same as the iPad 9. You're also still getting a little bit of bezel around it, so it's not as much as the iPad 9, but it still looks pretty good. You're getting that camera on the front, but it's on the landscape side, so it's a little bit of a different design too. And you're getting a USB-C port on the bottom of this thing, so I'm glad that you're getting USB-C versus the Lightning that's on the iPad 9. But I will definitely tell you, still a very, very good looking tablet on both. And I'd probably say with the Google Pixel tablet, maybe it's a little bit of a better design from that perspective, but regardless, still very good looking tablets on both. Now, both have these kind of interesting sides to them, but on the back, you are getting a little bit of a different styling on both as well. So on the Pixel tablet, this is more of a flat-sided device, and so is the iPad 9. I would actually say the iPad 9 is more flat-sided. So very similar stylings there. You're getting camera setups that are on the top left corner, top right corner, whichever way you want to look at them. And overall, I'm a big fan of the way both these tablets look. Nothing perfect on either one of these, but I would say that the iPad 9 feels more premium to me and just gives me better vibes overall than the Google Pixel tablet. So that was another thing that kind of stood out to me. And when you're getting something like the Pixel tablet, that's just a really cool thing going on for the iPad 9, I would say, actually, that is performing a little bit better on that device than on something like the Google Pixel tablet, in this opinion. So that kind of covers it up on the outside, kind of like a thumbs up for me from that perspective alone. Now, moving on from the camera side of things, this is the one thing that doesn't make a lot of sense to me for the Google Pixel tablet. Remember, the Pixel tablet costs a lot more money than the iPad 9, so just keep that in the back of your head. On the iPad 9, you're getting that 8 megapixel standard camera on the back with a 12 megapixel camera on the front. With a Pixel tablet, you're getting an 8 megapixel wide-angle camera and then an 8 megapixel wide-angle camera on the front. The Pixel tablet's cameras are pretty much exactly the same on the front and the back, 1080p at 30 frames per second, pretty much the whole 9 yards there. With the iPad 9th generation, you're getting basically 1080p at 30 on the back, but you're getting 1080p at 60 on the front. The front camera of the iPad 9 is better, I would say, than the back camera of the iPad 9. So I would say from that perspective, the iPad 9 kind of will give you a little bit of a better camera experience. But the weirdest thing is that with the iPad 9, you are actually getting, in my opinion, overall a better experience and just a better camera overall on the iPad 9 than the Pixel tablet, which is crazy because the Pixel tablet costs a lot more money than the iPad 9. So I have no idea for a company that makes as good of cameras as Google does, for how much software improvements they do for everything from that perspective. I have no idea why Google decided to put this type of camera on their Pixel tablet, their first generation product. It should have been a way better camera than this. And the fact that the iPad 9 has a better camera than this is actually kind of surprising in and of itself. So from that perspective alone, that's probably another thing to keep in mind there too. Now moving on to the the software side of things, the iPad 9 has that iPadOS 17 software on it. I haven't installed iPadOS 17 on it yet, but you are getting that type of software on that device. The Pixel tablet has standard stock Android. I don't know if there's one that you'll prefer over the other one. I'm pretty sure that both these tablets are going to be lasting around the same time. Clearly, the iPad 9 is going to be having that longer software experience on it. So from the day 1 to day 2, there's going to be more days that the iPad 9 was supported with software than the Pixel tablet. So that's maybe another thing to keep in mind. But I would still say both are going to be supported for quite a few years. you really don't have too much to worry about there from that perspective either. And I would probably say with the iPad 9, I'm very, very happy with the way that iPad has been getting software support and everything. Whereas on the Pixel tablet, it's still going to be getting software support, but I don't know. I really hope it ends up being supported for a lot longer, but I guess we'll see what happens. Now, moving on to the performance side of things, the iPad 9th generation has that Apple A13 Bionic chip inside of it with 3 gigabytes of RAM, where the Google Pixel tablet has that Google Tensor G2 chipset inside of it with 8 gigabytes of RAM. Now, the thing with the iPad 9 and the Google Pixel tablet and how they compare, it's an interesting dynamic. So with the iPad 9th generation, this type of device, I'm definitely going to tell you, is going to be holding up very well. I mean, the performance you're going to be getting from this thing is top tier. I feel like with the iPad 9, you're definitely going to be getting probably some of the better type of baseline iPad experience that you're going to be getting from basically most devices. The iPad 10 is going to be faster, but with the iPad 9, you're definitely getting a really good performing tablet. You're going to be able to perform at pretty high levels. Basically any game or anything you're going to throw at your specific iPad, you're basically going to be able to handle it. And that's something that's so beautiful with this type of device. With the Pixel tablet, I still feel like, this is a pretty good performing tablet for sure. I would say both these devices kind of have some trade-offs. So I would say the iPad 9's performance isn't as good as the Pixel tablet overall, especially with the amount of RAM that tablet has. But I do feel like the Google Pixel, tablet isn't as good as maybe some other Android tablets out there. So I'm not about to say that the Pixel tablet is like the best performing tablet of all time. It's definitely not even the best performing Android tablet right now either. I would give that to probably the Tab S8 or the S8 Ultra. But I would say that for the performance that you're going to be getting, I would say the Pixel tablet is probably going to be the overall better performing tablet when it comes down to it. But I feel like iPad and iPadOS is way more optimized. And I feel like that is probably the approach that I feel like Apple's going to be the better phone, like the better software and better performance provider than on the Pixel tablet side. So take it as you will, but that's kind of how I would see the performance between both these devices as of right now. In terms of battery life, I would kind of say that the iPad 9th generation may actually have a better battery life overall than the Pixel tablet. With a lot of Pixel devices, I feel like the performance and the battery life has been kind of all over the place. And the Pixel tablets is the first generation product. It's going to get better throughout time. But I do feel like in this specific situation, Google should hopefully be able to perform at a little bit of a better, I think in time, Google Pixel tablet will do better. But as of right now, I think the iPad 9 is probably the better one when it comes down to it. So in terms of that kind of covers it up there. And to kind of sum up this video, what I'm going to tell you is I definitely do think the iPad 9 is probably the better priced iPad and probably the iPad I'd recommend a majority of people to buy. There's not really a big reason why people should buy the Pixel tablet when you can either buy an iPad 9 for much cheaper or buy a Galaxy Tab S8 for the same exact price as something like a Google Pixel tablet. And that would just make a lot more sense for me to actually recommend to people rather than buying and picking up the tablet that they have right now. So in my opinion, that's kind of how I see these two tablets kind of holding up. If you have any other thoughts or questions, let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.